The first thing you need to understand about humans is that they are completely, utterly, magnificently insane. I say this as someone who watched my entire fleet get dismantled by a species that still uses combustion engines for recreational purposes. My name is Vorath, and I was the Supreme Strategic Coordinator for the Caltharian Empire's expansion into Sector 793. Notice I said was past tense, because humans happened. Let me back up. 3 cycles ago, the High Council identified a perfect target, a small blue planet orbiting an unremarkable yellow star. Scans showed abundant water, rare minerals, and a primitive civilization that had barely achieved rudimentary spaceflight. They called their world Earth. We called it easy pickings. The initial report made us laugh. Actually laugh. These creatures had divided themselves into nearly 200 separate tribal units they called nations. They spent more resources fighting each other than developing any real defenses. Their most advanced weapons were crude nuclear devices that they were too afraid to actually use. It was adorable. This will take 4 solar days, maximum, declared High Commander Zelther at the planning session. Probably less. Everyone nodded. Everyone agreed. Everyone was catastrophically wrong. We sent the standard intimidation package, 12 dreadnoughts, 40 support cruisers, and enough firepower to glass a continent. Our translator drones broadcast the usual message in their dominant languages. Submit. Surrender your resources. Resistance is futile. You know, the classics. I was monitoring communications when their response came through. A single human, some kind of governmental leader, appeared on screen. Older male, gray head fur, wearing a strange fabric arrangement around his neck. He looked tired. Let me get this straight, the human said slowly, rubbing his facial sensors. You want our water, our metals, and our, what did you call it? Biological compliance. Correct, I responded, feeling generous enough to engage. Your species will be relocated to processing facilities. Your planet will be harvested. This is not negotiable. The human did something with his mouth. We later learned this was called a smile, though it did not indicate happiness. Yeah, that's not going to work for us, he said. How about you turn those fancy ships around and pretend you never found us? We'll do the same. No hard feelings. I activated the demonstration protocol. One of our dreadnoughts fired a precision strike at an uninhabited island, vaporizing it completely. The message was clear. You have 12 standard time units to respond, I said. The human's expression changed. You just destroyed Palmyra Atoll, you absolute bastards, he snapped. Do you have any idea how important that was for seabird conservation? This confused me. We had killed no sentient beings. Why was he upset about avian creatures? Comply or face extinction, I repeated. Yeah, okay, we're done talking, the human said. Then he added something that made no sense. Someone wake up the crazy folks in Florida and Texas. Tell them aliens just blew up part of the ocean. Oh, and get me Johnson at DARPA. Tell her Christmas came early. The transmission ended. What is a Florida? Asked Zelther. We found out approximately 6 hours later. The attack came from nowhere. Our sensors detected nothing until their primitive projectile weapons were already punching through our hull shields. Not energy weapons. Not plasma cannons. Actual physical slugs. Made of depleted uranium. Moving at a significant percentage of light speed. How are they accelerating mass to these velocities? Screamed our chief engineer as another railgun round tore through the port side. Then came the missiles. Hundreds of them. Thousands. They swarmed our point defense systems like insects. Some were nuclear. Some were conventional. Some were just dense metal rods that struck with pure kinetic force. Several appeared to be. Was that a school transportation vehicle welded to a rocket engine? They are throwing everything at us, Zelther observed. Possibly the only accurate assessment he made that entire day. Our ships began evasive maneuvers, but human weapons kept finding us. They were not particularly accurate, but they compensated with sheer volume. For every missile we destroyed, 5 more appeared. Where are these launching from? I demanded. Everywhere, Commander. Every continent. Underground silos, ocean vessels, aerial platforms, mobile ground units. Sir, they have weapons hidden in civilian structures. This one launched from something called a Walmart. A new transmission interrupted us. Different human. Younger. Female. With facial fur over her optical sensors. Hi there, space jerks, she said cheerfully. Dr. Rebecca Martinez, Advanced Weapons Division. Just wanted to let you know that what you're experiencing right now? This is just the conventional stuff. The boring weapons. We've been developing really interesting toys for the past 70 years, just in case something like you showed up. Want to see? Retreat to outer orbital range, ordered Zelther. We will bombard from distance. A smart move. Except humans had apparently anticipated this. As our fleet repositioned, their planet's moon lit up with launch signatures. They had armed their moon. Their moon. This species is defective, muttered Zelther. Defective. That word will haunt me forever. Because it was not defectiveness. It was something far more terrifying. It was preparation. It was spite. It was a species that had spent generations imagining this exact scenario and planning for it. And we had just given them an excuse to use every terrible weapon they had ever conceived. The thing about humans, I learned, is that they have spent their entire evolutionary history preparing to fight things that want to kill them. Predators, diseases, each other, the universe itself. They are survivors wrapped in skin, piloted by anxiety and spite. 3 hours into the battle, we had lost 4 dreadnoughts and 16 support cruisers. This is impossible, Zelther kept repeating. Their technology is centuries behind ours. Centuries. He was correct, technically. Their ships were slower. Their weapons less efficient. Their targeting systems laughable by our standards. But they had something we had never encountered before. Absolute, unhinged determination backed by frightening creativity. A transmission came through. A different human, male, wearing a green military uniform adorned with colorful ribbons. He spoke with a thick accent from one of their southern continental regions. Keltharian vessels, this is General Thomas Price, United States Space Command. We have a message for you, and I want you to listen carefully. He paused, baring his teeth. You picked the wrong damn planet. Then their lunar installations fired something new. Not missiles. Not railguns. Our sensors could not identify the energy signature at all. Evasive action. I screamed, but it was too late. The weapon struck our flagship with a sound that should not exist in a vacuum. The shields did not merely fail. They inverted, crushing the outer hull inward. Zelther was hurled across the command deck as sparks erupted from every console. What was that? He gasped. Unknown technology, sir. The readings make no sense. It appears to be weaponized gravitational manipulation. Weaponized gravity. They had turned physics itself into a gun. Fall back to rally point theta, Zelther ordered, blood dripping from a head wound. We need to regroup and analyze their capabilities. But humans were not finished. Oh no, not even close. As we retreated, their space stations, dismissed by us as primitive research platforms, began to move. Actually move. Hidden propulsion systems ignited inside structures we had believed were harmless scientific outposts. Each station bristled with weapons we had somehow missed in our scans. They disguised military installations as civilian infrastructure. Our intelligence officer reported, voice shaking. Sir, we may have made a significant miscalculation. A significant miscalculation. The phrase might have been funny if we were not dying. The stations coordinated with ground forces, creating a killing field in near-Earth orbit. Our remaining ships could not advance without entering overlapping fields of fire. Every time we adapted to one weapon system, humans deployed another. Lasers, particle beams, something that looked suspiciously like a modified mining drill launched at relativistic speeds. Another transmission followed. This time, multiple humans appeared on screen simultaneously. Different uniforms, different ethnicities, different languages translated in real time. They were coordinating. All of them. Every nation. A woman with dark skin and sharp eyes spoke first. Keltharian forces, this is Admiral Okoye of the African Union Defense Fleet. You have violated our territory. A man with Eastern features continued. This is Commander Liu of the Pan-Asian Coalition. We have cross-referenced your tactics with 70 years of strategic gaming simulations. Another voice followed, female, from the European sector. Captain Anderson, Nordic Space Division. We have been waiting for something like you since we first looked at the stars. They took turns, taunting us, working together, despite having been enemies themselves mere days ago. You united them, I said quietly to Zelther. We gave them a common enemy. His face went pale. Well, paler. Our species is already fairly light-colored. The human named Price spoke again. You want to know the funny thing? He said. We spent the last century developing weapons we hoped we would never need. nuclear arsenals that terrified us, biological agents locked in maximum security vaults, experimental technologies that violated our own ethical guidelines. We built all of this nightmare fuel, and then we just sat on it, afraid of ourselves, afraid of what we could do. He leaned closer to the camera. But you magnificent idiots. You showed up and gave us permission to open that box. You gave us a target we could all agree deserved everything we have. So thank you. Sincerely, thank you for making this easy. The assault intensified. Human pilots in small fighter craft performed maneuvers that should have killed them outright. The G-forces alone should have liquefied their internal organs. Later analysis revealed gel-based suspension systems and stimulant cocktails keeping them conscious. They were poisoning and crushing themselves just to remain combat effective. They are insane, Zelther whispered. No, I corrected. They are committed. There is a difference. Our fleet was down to 6 operational ships. We had started with 52. A new contact appeared on sensors. Massive, accelerating from beyond the moon. What is that? Zelther demanded. The tactical officer checked the readings again. And again. Sir, it appears to be an asteroid. A large one. And they have mounted engines on it. Multiple nuclear engines. They are using it as a projectile weapon. They had strapped rockets to a space rock and aimed it at us. Because of course they had. Full retreat, Zelther ordered quietly. All ships. Maximum speed. Abandon salvage operations. We are leaving. Sir, the High Council will demand an explanation. Then they can come here and fight these lunatics themselves, he shouted. I am not sacrificing more lives to this death world. As we fled, dodging human weapons and debris from our own destroyed vessels, one final transmission reached us. The old human from first contact appeared again. The one with gray head fur. He looked even more tired. Keltharian fleet, he said calmly. Let me be very clear. You are leaving because we are letting you leave. We are tracking your trajectory. We are cataloging your technology. And if you, or any other species, ever return here with hostile intent, we will find your homeworld. We will build ships. We will cross whatever distance separates us. And we will show you what 7 billion angry humans with a grudge can accomplish. He paused. This is not a threat. This is a promise. Spread the word. Earth is off limits. We are not interested in your empire or your politics. But we will defend our home with every terrible weapon we can imagine. And human imagination, as you have discovered, is extensive. The transmission ended. We jumped to faster-than-light travel the moment we cleared their gravity well. Zelther sat in his command chair, staring at nothing. They were supposed to be primitive, he said softly. They are primitive, I replied. That is what makes them so dangerous. They fight like cornered animals, because in their minds, they always are. The journey back to Keltharian space took 3 weeks. We spent it writing reports, analyzing data, and trying to understand what had gone wrong. The answer was simple. We assumed technology determined strength. We forgot that the most dangerous creature is not the one with the best weapons, but the one willing to use anything as a weapon. The High Council was displeased. They demanded proof, evidence, explanations. I gave them everything. Sensor data, combat recordings, tactical analyses. And then I added my recommendation. Quarantine the entire sector. Mark it as hostile territory. Warn every species in the known galaxy. Because, I concluded, humans are what happens when evolution creates a species smart enough to build civilization, but crazy enough to weaponize everything it touches. They are persistence predators who learn to make tools. And now that they know we exist, it is only a matter of time before they come looking for us. Zelther was demoted. I was reassigned to a desk position, cataloging mineral surveys. Boring work. Safe work. And every night, I study the star charts and think about that small blue planet orbiting an unremarkable yellow star. Somewhere out there, humans are building, planning, preparing. And I pray to every deity in the known cosmos that I never see what they create next. Because the galaxy has awakened a sleeping giant. And that giant is petty, creative, and absolutely refuses to lose. Welcome to the new reality. Humanity is here. And they are terrifyingly good at war. If this story entertained or taught you something, please like and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us grow and bring you more stories like this. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next story.